video of founding car, and today is out of the ABARTH 595C TURISMO. And today we will discuss why I didn't choose this car for my trip to Italy. Because it's a little bit funny, it is an Italian made car. And the trip to Italy, why wouldn't you have chosen for the natural fit? Because it has been made and developed there. And also Italy is quite warm, this is a convertible, very nice combination, right? Yeah, but there were some things that I considered. One of the things that I considered is that this is a smaller car. It's an A segment car as compared to the B segment that Suzuki Swift Sports that I also have is. So that means less room and less functionality if you have to take stuff with you or you want to use one of the doors. This only has 3 doors and Suzuki Swift Sport has 5 doors. Another thing to consider is that on such a long trip, it was 2,200 kilometers trip, you like a car that's reliable. I'm not saying that an ABARTH is not reliable, but I want to say this to you: an ABARTH is far less reliable than a Suzuki Swift Sport. Suzuki is a very reliable brand. All Japanese brands are on average very reliable because they are very perfectionistic. And Italians, like French cars, oftentimes have a little bit different view on quality. So they like things to look and sound very nice. The ABARTH looks and sound fantastic, but it's also a thing to consider. Also, I took my dogs with me, so it's easier when you have access to the rear seat through separate doors, of course. Another thing to consider is that you can open this roof, and with fantastic warm weather this is very nice, vita bella. But also the drawback is that it's less safe. So for example, if you park your car, a cloth roof is much easier to break into, and sometimes you have your stuff in there. So when you have brakes in between. Another thing to consider is that this car has a little bit different characteristics. So one of the characteristics is that the underpinnings, this is a shorter wheelbase, so you get, especially at speed, so on the autobahn for example, you get less comfort out of it. So short bumps will give you more disruption of the chassis. So a longer chassis like the Swift is easier then. And another thing is that I had tires on this car which I need to replace. So if you take then a long trip, it is not the best conditions. And why is that? Because these tires might still function very well in dry, perhaps even better than new ones, because they have more grip area now. But should it rain during the trip, they have a lot less traction, and therefore I chose Suzuki Swift Sport, which has quite new tires over this older tire ABARTH construct. I'm not saying that in the future I might also take this car for a longer trip, because I think it's fully worthy of that. But then I already know a little bit more about the car and the reliability, instead of just trying it out in an important trip, because I wanted to come there, because I had to work there as well, and also so I wanted that not to be compromised, the arrival date, but also the return. And when you're there with your wife and dogs, also you like your trip to go as smooth as possible. Also, if you're driving alone, it's not nice that something can go amiss. So I'm really not bashing the ABARTH. I think it could be a very nice future candidate for such a trip. But what I like a little bit more about the ABARTH is the short burst. So if you don't have a too long trip, then you can fully enjoy its character. Whereas on longer trips, I think the Suzuki Swift Sport is just more mature and it's a better choice. So out of those 2 cars that I have, I choose Swift Sport, Pikachu. Pikachu, I choose you over the ABARTH. But on the other hand, if there is a short trip like this, I really like the ABARTH more. And why is that? It gives you more experience in a short duration. And also, of course, for example, those exhausts are a little bit louder. It's the road holding is a little bit more enthusiastic, and also the comfort is a little bit different. The funny thing is that this ABARTH is in the city trips is a little bit more comfortable than the Suzuki Swift Sport. And why is that? The Suzuki Swift Sport was more comfortable as standard, but it's now lowered. So as I mentioned, on the higher speed bumps, the Suzuki Swift Sport managed better, but those short speed bumps in city life, I think this ABARTH handles it better, even though it has a Koni suspension standard, being a TURISMO. So it's a thing to consider. Hope you liked this short video. I tried to give you an honest opinion, of course, and also get you involved into the thought processes going on here. Found a car? Out.